Alright, welcome to another video. Getting back in the groove of things, but not easy sometimes, but I have to get it done. I can't just sit around, they say, and just twiddle my thumbs and not get anything done. I'll have quite a few people ask me why I really didn't get back into heating and air after this incident that I went through, as you can read in my book here. You can get it at any major bookstore, Amazon, Books A Million, and many others. After I went through a ordeal that I went through for a year and a half of this BS, it changed a lot in my life. And heating and air is, after I got through all this mess after a year and a half, over time I come to realize that heating and air was no longer part of my life. Even though I enjoy going out and helping people get their unit running on a nice cold day or nice hot day, I just come to the conclusion that that's just not part of my life anymore after I went through all this. One of the main reasons why that came to be is all of this that I went through, it just kept running and running through my head. Every day, that's all I can think about. Any little noise, doors shutting, especially big metal doors, it just reminded me of the time that I was living somewhere else for a year and a half. Just little sounds like every time a door's shut, that's all I can think of. Or if I hear somebody's dangling of keys, it's just something that after you hear that for a year and a half, multiple times a day, it's just part of you. It's just there. And it's hard to get rid of. And working on units in high voltage, high temperature with torches, high pressure of freon, and having that state of mind of that year and a half constantly going through your head, and any little noise just triggers it. You really can't concentrate on anything. And I figured that it would be safer, since I was already injured by a air conditioning unit blowing up in my face that was like 3 feet in front of my face and knocked me off my feet, literally, and knocked me back 5 or 6 feet onto the ground and put me out of work for a year up there at the burn center for quite many days. But after that injury, of how it, at a split second, your life can change. And I did not want to take the risk of working with the high voltage, with torches, with high pressure Freon and not be thinking as I should be to be safe and make that one little mistake that can end it everything. So I decided to just retire. I built up enough of all the years that I worked to be able to just call it quits of the industry of heating and air. No longer have to go out and do that because it was just not safe. Of course, I had all the tools and precaution and safe gear and all, but if you're not thinking straight, you got to get that tool working as well. If you don't have that tool working the way it's supposed to, well, that's a safety issue. And that's when I decided to say, enough is enough. Just retire. Play it safe. Plus, the phone number that I had, I lost it. When you don't pay your bill, you lose things. And there was no way. I tried for almost a year to figure out a way to get that phone number back so I can get the chance that maybe some clients that has that number will take the chance of calling and I get the work. But I could not get that number. I had to get a new number, which is the same number I got now. But I would have to rebuild all the clients, new ones, because I sent out a letter to all of the clients that I had in the past. I think it was like over 80% of them said they already found another company, but if they need me, they'll call me. So I went for another year just sitting and trying to keep my mind off of this, which is a task of its own. Waiting to see if the phone calls will come in. I advertised on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, Indeed, all over the place, to see if I can get it to ramp back up. Well, it wasn't. So I decided just to call completely closed doors. I tried every effort I can think of at the time to get it back going. And I said, it's just not worth the effort that it would take and the years it would take to get it back the way it was. So I just closed doors, sold everything. Now, of course, I could have got somebody else to run it and let them build it up and all that and still have revenue coming out of it, but I didn't need it. So I didn't want, even after you go through this, you just don't have that much motivation of doing anything. I didn't take the easy way out. I took the safe way out. That was just part of my past, and I left it in the past. My life changed, so I had to adapt to the new life that I have gotten into. So I retired, but I didn't want to sit home. So that's when I started a hobby of helping people get internet, because I'm real good at networking, connecting things together and get internet from point A to point B in one way or the other. And many of my heat and air buddies I've met personally, in person and online, know that when it comes to tech stuff that I'm real good at. I've helped many to be able to broadcast and stream live on their mobile devices, even sitting in their driveway, getting ready to go to work. They were able to go live on their phone and chat for a little bit before they roll out as their truck warmed up, which them videos, we just love watching them individuals be able to sit in their truck in the morning, drinking their coffee or whatever, and having the truck warm up and be able to broadcast live on YouTube. It gives me satisfaction to be able to help somebody to be able to do that. That helps their life. And same thing as the internet. Many times I have traveled the United States that people needed internet out in the middle of nowhere. Their cell service didn't even work. And be able to get internet to their home that they never had before. Of course, they had satellite, HughesNet, I think it was, at the particular one that I'm thinking of. But they flew right through the data before the 15th of every month, and then they just throttled down to basically dial-up speed. And they have to pay a pretty penny to get that. They were on the biggest package they had, almost $200 a month. But be able to put up towers and do relays from a different location and get it over to that, basically that little village that had maybe 30, 40 homes, and redistributed that internet out to them homes. And they can turn that TV on, smart TV, or their cell phone, their tablet, their computer, whatever needs to connect to the internet, and it works. No more driving 30 minutes into town to a coffee shop, which even there, their Wi-Fi was crappy. I went there and it was like less than 2 megs per second of download speed for the kids to be able to do their homework. Because, you know, in this age, everything's basically done on the internet, and school projects and all is no different. But seeing their faces, some mothers actually breaking down in tears of joy of seeing their kids be able to stay home and be able to sit back as a family and watch movies on Netflix. Something they have basically almost never done since they lived there, except for the first half of the month when they did have internet. But it was on satellite, so it just really didn't work too well. But have reliable, high-speed internet changed their life. Their life got changed by one little incident of me installing internet. Well, this incident changed my life. It made it take a new path. I was wrongfully accused, never went to court, just sat there for a year and a half, and then they said, okay, we see there's nothing. We found out what it is. Sorry, go home. Well, that don't fix things. That gives me the opportunity to start fixing things, but it didn't fix the problems that this caused. But I was not going to let it get the best of me. I was going to say, okay, it's nothing that I can do to change what has happened, but I can change and make my life better by doing things. It's taken a different path. I have to figure out what path that was and take that journey. And until to this day, I'm highly confident that I took the right path because I'm very satisfied where my life has gone since this mess. I got something that gets me to travel, and that's what I want to do. When you retire, you want to, relax and travel when you want to and stuff. And that's what I can do. And at times, when I travel for doing the internet, my travel actually gets paid for. What better can you do there? I mean, you want to travel and it gets paid for, that's just a bonus. It don't happen every time, but over half of it does. But I get to travel, be with my family. That's what we were planning on doing when I retired. Now we're just doing it roughly 20 some years earlier. So we're going to have 20 years more of relaxation and more quality time together. For instance, if this mess didn't happen, I'd still be doing heating and air full time. That's a full time job around here with this kind of weather, especially during the summer. I would not be able to sit here right now and be making videos, sitting here and cleaning my coffee maker. And our daughter is here with the two grandkids. I wouldn't be able to spend time as much that I do now with them if this didn't happen. I probably wouldn't even see them when I leave in the morning because they wouldn't be up. And they may not even be up when I get home if they were actually staying here with me at the time. They come to visit from time to time. They'll come for a couple weeks and stay, and then they'll go back home. But I wouldn't be able to see them as often as I do now if this didn't happen. As they say, everything happens for a reason. And I don't like that this happened. But there's positive that came out of this. One, I get to retire early. Two, I get 20 more years of freedom of retirement, of be able to travel and do whatever I want. Three, see my grandkids and my kids basically every day. Four, I wrote a book that will be here forever for other people to read. I put my little footprint, leaving something behind that would never came to existence if I didn't go through that ordeal that I went through. Always try to take any incident that happens in my life, anything that happens in my life, whether it's good or bad, and make the best of it. It's not easy every time. You really have to scratch your head sometimes to figure out what the good part is. But I thought about writing a book when I was in there. I would say probably like in the first 30 days that I was there, I saw that this is not going to be a fast-paced situation. So I got some notebook paper and I started writing down what I did every day so I can have a story when it's all over. I put that story together and put it in a book. I put the highlights. I didn't put everything So that's 500 some days that I was there. So I summed it up of the highlights, the major points of within that time frame. So if you haven't got the book yet, look on Amazon. I think they got it on sale now. Last time I checked, about a week ago. Or you go to your bookstore, you can order it there. Probably even on eBay. Pretty much any major bookstore or internet website that sells books, you probably can order it from them. But you have to find a way to take the bad things in life and actually turn it around. I tried to get back into heat and air, and I realized it was just not for me anymore. Even though I still enjoy it now as much as I did back then, but it's just not part of my life. I still watch the other, the guys that I pretty much was raised up with online. I still watch their videos. I log into that channel and catch up on their videos, usually like on the weekends, like on a Saturday night, just sit here and I still subscribe to their channel, so it lets me know who's put up a video. So I'll go in alphabetical order, and just each one will have a little dot beside it, and I'll just click on it and watch all the videos that I haven't seen and hit the next one. I'll sit there for 4 or 5 hours and just watching videos of the heating and air guys that we used to hang out with together. And sometimes I'll see that some of them will be going to stream live, and I'll try my best to go over there and watch it when it's actually live. I'm not in that field anymore, but I still want to be associated with the ones that I was come to know on that journey of heating and air online. It's not easy of driving your life, a train, say, on the tracks, and at any moment the switch turns and you have to be detoured to a different track. And to be able to set your life on that track, knowing that you're not going back on the track that you came off of, is not the easiest thing to do. Because I saw that it was just not worth going back through what I already did in the past to build up the heating and air business. I didn't want to go through all that again. It would not be, it wouldn't be worth it to me to go through it all again to get it back to where it was. And I had to just come to the conclusion that heating and air is something in the past. It's like high school. Not going back to high school, that was just part of my life. It's over and done with. Just as heating and air is. It was part of my life, it's over and done with. Had so many years in it, and it's done. Is it easy? No, not by a long shot. But starting a heating and air company wasn't easy either. But you stick to it and get it done. But since I already did it once and know what it would take to get to the point where I had it, I was just not wanting to go through that again. Just like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the other platforms that I was on, that basically I was using them for the heating and air to keep up with people that needed that service. They can find me. So I just deleted all them accounts because I no longer needed it. Only thing I have now is, as you see in the description on this channel or the Entrepreneur Box channel here on YouTube, that I have YouTube channels, I have podcasts, video podcast on YouTube, and just audio podcast on Anchor, and I have a radio station where I broadcast live. You can, listen to it. It's like a podcast, but it's just live. I'm trying to get back into doing this on a weekly basis. My back went out like 3 days ago, and it's still not where it should be, and that was just an injury that I had when the air conditioner blew up in my face. It twisted my back, and every now and then, 2 or 3 times a year, I turn just the wrong way, sleep the wrong way, and it just irritates it, and it pretty much makes me just relax for 3 or 4 days involuntarily. Pretty much I don't do nothing except tiptoe around and drink coffee and watch videos. Binge watch a lot of videos. But I'm glad that it only happens 2 or 3 times a year. Last year it only happened twice. And that's another thing that kept me from going back into heating and air as well. I know that working in that industry, it's some heavy lifting that's going to be required for me to stay in that industry and make it profitable. And as I'm getting older, and I took that whole 1.5 years involuntarily of my muscles just not as active as they were, that means my joints and everything else, the muscles and ligaments and everything else that holds it together, is not as strong as it used to be. And as you get older, it takes less time for your body to deteriorate in a way of like your muscles. If you don't use them for a long time, you have to build them back up, and that means your joints and everything, it's not going to be as strong of be able to lift, and so my back is going to be more vulnerable to injury of me trying to pick up a compressor and setting it in a unit. I took a lot of different factors into thought of, is it worth it? And I said no. And I'm glad I did. Because I wanted to wind down, but I didn't expect this to happen, to make it happen 20 years basically early. But to a point, I'm kind of glad that it did happen, because I benefit a lot from this. Life is not easy. Anybody that says it is, well, they haven't lived life yet. But hopefully, you take this video and help you in your own life to get through some troubled times that you may be going through. Just remember, there's light at the end of the tunnel. How long that tunnel is going to be really dependent on how fast you want to get through that tunnel. What are you willing to do to get through that tunnel? I myself, I just basically went all in. I said, I don't need the heat and air. I don't want to go through all that again. Then I looked, what else is attached to it? And I said, all the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all that. I like, don't need that no more. Delete, 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 delete. Just delete it all. Do away with it. Don't look back. Start on the new journey. Find something else that will make you have a successful life. And this internet hobby is perfect for what I need to do for years now. It's so easy to do, but I enjoy it so much. Of course, it runs itself, except the installations. But it's something that I can leave my kids, or I can sell parts of it or all of it and make a profit off of all the work I've put into it. I'm going to let it go in the direction it wants to go. I've tried to find somebody that wants to take it off my hands, but nobody has made that leap. They keep saying they want it. They're going to get back with me, but nobody makes that leap. Not saying they're not going to. It's just they may have to do some things so they can. And it might take them a year or two to get that done. But I'm just going to just let it keep going as it is and enjoy life, keep traveling. And the way things are going, I may end up back in Tennessee again. The place that I went, helping somebody to get their internet business up and running. They call me roughly about every other week and let me know what the process of, or the progress they've made of getting their stuff together. And when it gets to a certain point, they already said that they want me to come up there and help them to do certain parts of it. Show them how to set up the radios, how to program them. Now they know how to program radios, but what is the easiest way to set it up? Not just, okay, you got a house is over here, you need an AP, just grab one and put it. What is the best one to use? Is it best to hit the highest one, hit the lowest one, and then upgrade eventually? I mean, just so many variables. They just want for me to tell them from experience of what I've done and how it was good and how it was bad and how it can help them and so forth. And that's what I want to do, is just help others. And I want to travel. it gets both. But look on Entrepreneur Box channel, and when I go, I'll be making a video. But take life by the horns. And make your life enjoyable as much as possible. Don't let others make your life for you. Don't let others control your life. Don't let others tell you what you should do in your life. And I'm talking hard down anybody, not just friends. I'm talking about family members as well. You got to hit it hard. If you really want to enjoy your life, getting a job just because people say you're good at this and good at that. Just because you're good at something don't mean you're going to enjoy doing it for a living. As they say, if you're doing a hobby that you enjoy doing but you can make money and live off of it, you'll never go to work. And that's true. If you're doing something you really enjoy doing, like a hobby, but you're making financial income from it that can support you and your family, you're going to get up every morning and go because you enjoy it. You don't look at it as a job. Do a hobby and get paid for it. That's the best you can have. If I want to turn this hobby into a business, it would be very little effort to get it done. I have not done any advertisement at all. It's been word of mouth. I did one RV park that had no internet at all, unless you had a hotspot or satellite. And I've taken up 2 satellite dishes out of the ground since I've been there. And when I went into places that already had high-speed internet in RV parks, I thought I was going to be rejected 99% of the time because they like, why should I get this one guy here, just starting out or whatever, the way they would look at it, when I got this big company here and, that I can get internet from. But after I got in there and a half a dozen got on and they started telling people, it was like a grapevine. It just went everywhere. Now I got 8, 9 RV parks just in that little town. Then I got one that's an hour and a half drive away. But I wouldn't got that one if it wasn't that I started in the little town that I started in Sneeze Ferry. Because the RV park in Sneeze Ferry that I got internet in, they sold that RV park, and the owner reopened or opened up, brought another one an hour and a half drive from where I'm at. So his previous RV park, I had internet in. After he sold it, he moved and he got another one, and he called me out of the blue and said he wanted internet. So it's just word of mouth. You have to look at things like getting new clients, whatever profession you're in. The worst they can do is say no. You can go door to door to door to door, and there's 15 doors and one says yes. It works that way sometimes. Then you get people that think you charge too much. Don't do the job. You set your prices and you got to be firm on it. Because if you leave that door open and give it to them once, they're going to try to gyp you out of your hard work earned money every time. Them kind of customers I don't even deal with. And I can still look back today on them particular clients, and I'm glad that I did what I did. I'm glad I didn't take them on. You got to be bold. Nobody else is going to pay your bills. Nobody else is going to get up and go to do the work for you. So you got to get up and enjoy the work and pay your own bills. Don't let somebody else tell you what you should do. As soon as they start paying your bills, then by all means, then you can listen to them. But until they are paying your bills, you're on your own. You do what you got to do to make it from day to day. You may have a hard life now, but you can get to success if you work hard enough. That's where I'm going to end this video. I'm going to try to do this weekly. It's not easy sometimes because this just keeps coming back. But it's getting to the point where I can force myself, even when this starts to rambling a little bit up in here, I can disregard and just keep punching through and get past it. And one thing I found that works real well, if you have anything like this or any other episodes of anything else that's happened in your life, maybe you lost a loved one, stay active. It keeps your mind off of it. At least a little bit more. Now, some people, you're going to have to be more active than others to be able to get that accomplished. Everybody's different. You got to do what works for you. So I'm going to end the video here, and thank you for everybody that's watching. And hopefully I'll have another one for you, another video for you next week and each week after. If you hadn't already, consider subscribing and hit the bell notification and the thumbs up and share it with your friends. Maybe it can help them. I don't know. I don't know who's watching. I don't know what you've gone through. But hopefully some of these videos will help you to get through the next day. Until the next video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.